All right, you're very welcome along to the Paralympic report, coming your way every single evening throughout the Paralympics right here on Off the Ball. It's all with thanks to Toyota Ireland. You can use the hashtag #StartYourImpossible. Once again, we're joined in studio by Niamh Tallon from HerSport.ie. How are you, Niamh?
Good today, how are you?
I'm very well. So yesterday was a bit of a medal rush. We had 2 medals, a gold and a bronze. No medals today, but still plenty of pretty impressive Irish performances.
Yeah, I think we had some really good performances, a few finalists. We had a fourth with Gary O'Reilly as well. So, yeah, some really good work from the team. Not quite podium, but top 10 is really great. Yeah,
really difficult for Gary O'Reilly to come back the day after medaling at a Paralympics and go again in the road race, and acquitted himself brilliantly. So close, 4th place in the road race.
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about yesterday, saying, how was the recovery going to go? And it's a big ask, going from podium to podium, but a 4th place is something that is really impressive. He had been in contention throughout the event and stayed with the group until nearly the end of the race. 3 riders made a break for it and nobody else was able to go with them. So they kind of sealed the deal in terms of the top 3. He then decided to make his own move and to put himself in contention for as high a finish as possible, and got a 4th place finish. So he said that he's chuffed with the games as a whole. I think 4th today was the best result I could have hoped for, to be honest. With the medal yesterday, I'm still struggling to believe that happened. So it's a job done well. He couldn't be happier. So he's really happy. It's his debut Paralympic performance. 3rd place and a 4th place is really brilliant, and I think there's loads more to come.
Yeah, sensational stuff from Gary O'Reilly, and he can go and properly at least enjoy his medal now. It must always be a sort of weird experience where you achieve something so great but you can't even really celebrate it that night and got to go out and compete again the next day. But I'm sure he'll enjoy himself in Tokyo tonight. Elsewhere, Barry McClements was in the individual medley heat in the pool, just 19 years of age. A personal best, but not quite enough.
Yeah, so Barry McClements was just outside the final, getting very close. He, I think, was a little bit disappointed. He added 4 seconds onto his personal best. He was actually leading the race for the first 100 metres, had a really strong 50 metres butterfly followed by the 50 backstroke. He looks like he's a little bit weaker in the breaststroke leg, which can really change things up, and that can really mix things up in individual medley. He is racing again. He'll be in the butterfly tomorrow. He said, in terms of the competition, like, this is his first Paralympic Games as well. There's loads to learn. It's a very long competition and he's been in a couple of events. So he'll be looking for a personal best tomorrow. That's what he said, and we look forward to seeing him there. But it's been some great action in the pool. We had Ellen Keane, Roisin Ureen in action as well. 2 finalists again.
Yeah, Ellen Keane, the golden girl, back in the pool. A nation expects now every time they watch Ellen Keane, and I know a lot of people were watching live her final, but this was a slightly different experience. She was in the 200 metres individual medley, ends up finishing 6th. Which was a very creditable performance because of the various classifications. It was far more difficult for her in this event than the one that she won gold in.
Yeah, she was actually ranked 6th. She finished in 5th place, joined 5th place overall. So in terms of this event, it's a completely different ball game. Like a quarter of it is breaststroke, which is obviously her main stroke. She went into the final in 7th position. She said she knew in the heat in the morning that she had to go out and be really fast. She gave it everything that she had, and said she felt really nervous before. She actually thought she was going to get sick because it was just such a toss-up as to whether she would make it through or not. She said you could swim a best time and still not make the final. So she was just a second off her best in the morning. She did progress in 7th position. Sophie Pascoe was in action again, the world record holder, but she finished joint 5th. She went out really strong. She said that she got everybody's hopes up in the first 100 metres. It was a really strong start. She was actually leading the butterfly leg for quite some time as well. Just in terms of the breaststroke, she was chasing down the athletes in 1st and 2nd position. There was also somebody in lane 2 really eating up the ground there. But Ellen has said that freestyle is her weakest leg, so she was trying to give herself every opportunity to get herself up there. She was really competitive in the event. I think something she should be really proud of, and she also got a personal best, which she's delighted with herself.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the classifications mean that in the individual medley she's racing against people who have more arm, so therefore it's obviously far more difficult for her than it is in the breaststroke where she came away with the gold.
Yeah, I think that's like when you're watching the event and you're seeing the girl in lane 2, she's actually gaining on Ellen, and then you kind of realise, well, she may not not be competing in the, like obviously Ellen won the gold medal, so she's a good breaststroker. But for the breaststroke, Ellen competes in the S8 classification, and in the individual medley she was in S9. So it's actually down to her elbow. And the kind of bit of joint that she has there, you know, it's been discussed like the kind of there's, you know, skin on her arm there, and there's been x-rays and stuff, you know, in terms of classification to ensure that she's in the right group. So it's just in terms of how one is classified per event. You know, she had a fantastic performance in the 100-metre breaststroke, and we're thrilled with that gold medal, but she's going to be equally as pleased with her performance in the IM as well.
The classification really is fascinating, and I know within the Paralympic movement is incredibly controversial as well, as you say, when you get down to the minutiae of having x-rays and trying to make the sort of decisions. But Ellen Keane will be travelling home, I'm sure, in the next 48 hours or so. Incredibly proud of her gold medal, and obviously Ellen does quite a bit of work with us here and Off the Ball. She's done a lot of really good interviews as well with some of the other Paralympic athletes that we've been playing out over the last couple of weeks. They're up on all our social channels now, so if you want to hear Ellen chatting to Nicole Turner or to Patrick Monaghan or Jason Smith, or even our own conversation with Ellen ahead of the games, are still well worth checking out. Elsewhere in the pool then, Roisin Nireen.
Yeah, so Roisin Nireen has finally finished her Paralympic Games. She finished her 6th event today. She did get into a final again, so she was ranked 12th overall in the event, and managed to get herself into the final, which was really impressive. She was 5th into the final. She PB'd by nearly 2 seconds. She was looking to go out faster. It was in the 100-metre breaststroke. She was a little bit slow off the start in the heat, and really ate up the ground in the second length. It didn't quite go as she had hoped, I think, off that, the commentary from the heat. In terms of the final, her start did seem a little bit slow, and she was almost like out of contention. She, you know, was 8th at the turn, but she really did, you know, claw her way back into a race. You know, she finished 7th in the final. She actually swam faster than the morning swim in a new personal best, so she can really work on that start and that opening 50. You know, there's a lot of good swims to come from her, but yeah, it was very quick. You know, in terms of the lead of the race, like they were, you know, the first like 3 or 4 athletes were a good bit ahead, but Roisin did claw her way back, and it turned into a race. It was 7th, but she was racing, you know, those around her as well.
Yeah, still 16 years of age, 5 Paralympic finals. When you look at what Ellen Keane has done at 26 and having had to go through 4 Olympics, I think we can all very much look forward to 3 years' time, as it's going to be when Roisin will be the grand old age of 19, probably going to her 2nd Paralympics. A reminder that you are watching the Paralympic Report here on Off the Ball. It comes your way every single evening, all with thanks to Toyota Ireland. You can use the hashtag #StartYourImpossible. Niamh McCarthy in the discus, again very close in, I guess, position wise to a medal, but it was a very hotly contested discus.
Yeah, the discus was really impressive. She's delighted with her overall performance. She said she's really proud of what she's done, and actually a week ago she had considered pulling out of the Paralympic Games altogether. So she finished in 5th place and saved her best throw until last in 28.94 metres. Her personal best is over 30 metres, but she felt that she gave everything that she could today, and that was the best result that she had. The world record changed hands 3 times today. There was Rua Tilly took gold in 37.91 metres, and the silver went to Morocco in 37.75. So that is substantially ahead of where the rest of the field were. Bronze went to Morocco as well in 29.3 metres. So if you just think about that distance, like it's just so different. Niamh spoke about that she's usually like too nervous to like watch her competitors, and she doesn't like to see them compete, but she just had a different approach, I think, to this Paralympic Games and this competition as a whole. And she says she just watched and she was inspired by her competitors to see the world record just keep changing. She has said that she knows that other people might have been expecting something different from her. Like obviously she's had you know, several medals before, she's had, you know, Paralympic success, but she says it's been a very hard few years for her, and that she just really is very proud of that 5th place. You know, she gave it everything that she had, and you know, to be considering actually withdrawing a week ago and finishing in fifth place, I think is very admirable. Yeah,
it was really interesting listening to her interview afterwards, because you know, when you're a medalist previously at major championships, the expectation is there that even still still, getting to the Paralympics and actually getting to compete, she felt actually this time round was the achievement. There was no great expectation for herself on a medal, and that the last year was sort of fighting to even just get into that position. So it's great that despite not getting the medal, Niamh can still go home with a huge amount of satisfaction.
Yeah, and like she did have recent success at the European Championships. Like she defended her European title in June, and she won. She threw 30.03 metres, so she did break that 30-metre barrier at that point. But look, she's really happy with what she's done. She says she doesn't think that we'll see her competing in Paris. She'd love to be involved in some capacity, but she doesn't think that she'll be competing. But she's also said that doesn't mean that she's retiring or stopping competing just yet. It's just, will we see her still competing in 3 years is the question. But look, she has loads to be proud of. She's achieved so much in her time, and she said she came to the game a little bit late, but she's 2 Paralympics under her belt with a medal and a 5th place, which is really good.
Phil Eaglesham was competing as well last night. I think his main event is still to come on the weekend, but obviously got a bit of Paralympic experience at least.
Yeah, so he's been up in 2 events so far. He competed in the OR5 event today to finish in 21st place. He will be competing in his favourite event, the OR4, which is the 50-metre range on Saturday, and we'll be looking forward to seeing him in action there. So he's just getting warmed up and getting started.
What about the next 24 hours then? What should we be looking out for?
Yeah, so we have Patrick Flanagan up in the 400-metre freestyle tomorrow, as well as 100-metre butterfly with Barry McClements in the pool, and then we will have Pat O'Leary in action in the canoeing.
All right, Niamh, great stuff as always. Thanks a lot for coming into studio. Niamh Tallon there from HerSport.ie. Remember, the Paralympic Report, you can watch it on all our social channels. You can listen in on Off the Ball every single evening throughout the games. And it's all with thanks to Toyota Ireland. #StartYourImpossible.